right, so I am here with Mark Moran. We are here at the showing off some antiques, and you're doing some appraising here at the Washington County Community Center. Can you explain exactly what you're all doing here today?
You know, this is one of a series of programs that I do all over the upper Midwest, from northern Illinois to the upper peninsula of Michigan, northeast Iowa, eastern Minnesota, and every town and village and city in Wisconsin. Only lately have I been getting many requests from eastern Minnesota. This is the third of 3 programs that I'm doing for the Washington County Library System. So, and I have other programs coming up in Owatonna in October. I'll be in St. Cloud in March of 2014, and Fridley for the Fridley Historical Society in May of 2014. So there are a lot more coming up in Minnesota.
Definitely, and it kind of seems like within the last year or two, kind of finding different artifacts have been becoming more popular, especially with TV shows. You have like American Pickers and Storage Wars and different things like that.
Yep.
Why do you think people are getting more interested in this kind of stuff?
You know, it's funny because many people are, as they age, start to want to downsize, and they don't know what to do with all this stuff, or other family members have downsized to them, so they've inherited other collections, other treasures from generations of the family. And the one thing that I hear over and over again is, well, maybe we don't want to sell this right now, but we just don't want the kids to put it out at a yard sale for $1.
Right.
And they would too. So they just want to know what to do with these items, and I'm always happy to point people in the right direction if they have things that they want to sell. I never offer to buy or sell on a commission at my programs.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the reasons why they've been so wildly popular, is that people know I'm not just trying to pick up a bargain, turn around and sell it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what antique dealers do, and they and that's how they make their money. That's their business. I'm not an antique dealer. I'm just an appraiser.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you don't only just do these type of community events, you also go to home appraisals and stuff?
Absolutely. And on this trip, I have 14 house calls. People have been contacting me in large numbers for ever since the story appeared in the local papers. And so, yes, for people who have big things or fragile things or a lot of things, I'm always happy to do home visits. It's just $75 an hour, and we can do an unlimited amount of appraisals in that time. And they can contact me through my website, which is markfmoran.com.
All right, definitely.
Okay.
And then just lastly, what type of education do you have to be able to get these, to kind of learn all this kind of stuff?
That's a good question.
There's a wide range, it seems like, of knowing these
It
things.
is. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, I've written 27 books on various antiques and collectibles. I've been involved with antiques and collectibles for 40 years. And so during that time, I've been able to build up a lot of knowledge, but also have a great network of contacts in other areas of the antiques trade. So even if I don't know the answer, I have lots of people I can contact to help me find the answer.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Mark, for joining me today. And we definitely will enjoy the show.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's great being here in Forest Lake.
Awesome.
Okay. How did you get that sweet little baby?
When my mother passed away 2 years ago, it was left in the box that was for me.
Okay. Composition. This is a composition doll. And composition is a catch-all term for a doll made in a mold using sawdust and glue and sometimes rags and ground up bone and all kinds of things. They came after the China head dolls. They came after the bisque head dolls. So they were really a phenomenon of the 20th century. And this one has all little hand-painted face, and it's very typical, worn in the way that you would expect a composition doll to wear. You can see there are little, she's jointed at the hips and jointed at the shoulders. It's cracked and peeling here, and this is what happens. I mean, this doll is probably 90 years old, 80 to 90 years old. And she has been well loved.
Yes.
She has.
Yes.
My
And-
mom was a good mom.
And she's had most of the value loved right out of her. So I think if you saw her in an antique shop today, just like this, without a stitch on her little body, maybe $10 perhaps, but worth a lot more than that to you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
She said we can do all of them.
Oh, well, my husband's next, so.
Okay.
Just give you
She's
what-
representing the whole family.
That's fine. Well, but he still has to come up here.
Oh.
Otherwise, it's not official.
Right.
Ah, well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Here, we'll just turn it like this. So how did this come to you?
This
This-
one, mine is the watch.
Oh, okay.
This came from my brother, best friend passed away, who was in Europe a lot, and he picked it up in Europe. We don't know where, but it was given to my brother when he passed away, so I don't know any history or the background.
It's the kind of thing, we should also look at the back too. It's the kind of thing that someone taking the grand tour of Europe in the late 19th or early 20th century would have brought back as a souvenir. I mean, the style of the folding frame is very Gothic. You've got all this Gothic design, and these various religious images. This is I think the Annunciation, and of course here's the Madonna and Child. So this is a traveler's souvenir from the late 19th or early 20th century. It's in the Grand Tour, anyone who was anyone got on a steamship and went to Europe, and they would visit all the famous cities, all the famous sites, and then they would go to the Mediterranean and visit, Europe or Italy, North Africa, the Middle East, and this is the kind of thing they would have brought back as a souvenir, and it's called a triptych. A triptych. So let me just see if we can find some. And these are the images. We should say are I don't know if they're photo mechanical prints. They are photo mechanical prints. So they have a very dark pattern. But the condition is just wonderful, and the condition of the frame of the triptych is also wonderful. So let me see. Not sure I have triptych spelled correctly. As a former newspaper man, I should know how to do that, but I'm not sure. Okay, the age is, it's a good 100 years old, maybe a little less, maybe 1915 to 1920. But the fact that it has all this wonderful Gothic decoration is very, very nice. Because the subject matter is religious in nature, the antiques trade today, and really for a long time, is that objects that have a religious connotation, when just looked at from a monetary standpoint, are considered a tough sell. So it's they don't bring a whole lot of money in antique shops. Having said that, if someone wanted to take those religious prints out of there and put something else in, family portraits or something like that, they sure could. This is about, when you consider the carving and the quality of the frame, about $150 is the value today.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay.
I have a watch from my dad when he passed away.
Okay.
Here, you want to sit here?
No, I'm good.
Lord Elgin, very nice. Does it run?
Yes.
It does. Does it keep good time?
Yeah.
It looks like it's from the late 30s, early 40s, something like that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
a Lord Elgin Art Deco watch like this in a gold plating, it's not solid gold. If it was, it would have a lot of value, but it's just gold plated, and it just says something gold filled. Right, there we go, gold fill. So, but a wonderful kind of a salmon pink face.
It's different.
It's very different. I like it. I like it a lot. About $75. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Yeah, that was all three of us.
Okay. All of the Kellys.
Right.
Thank you, Kellys, one and all. Gloria, Kareen. Hello.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Just doing great.
You look familiar. Have you been to one of my programs?
haven't.
Maybe you just have one of those faces
You've got an everyday face.
that
Correct.
I've seen before. Okay. What's the story here? It's lovely.
It's pretty.
It's very pretty.
Old.
How did this come into your life?
It's was my mother-in-law's.
It's very, very nice.
Years ago.
As flow blue, and it's pretty restrained flow blue. It's not really flowing, but grandma.
Well, the kids make me put
Corrine,
their
Grandma
names.
Corrine on the masking tape.
Right.
Very old.
Right.
It says.
It's for my kids. We always label stuff.
That's a good idea. I mean, on so many of the house calls that I do, the nice folks always say, well, we don't want to sell it, but we just don't want the kids to put it out at a yard sale for $1.
Correct.
And they would too.
Correct.
Rotten kids.
Well,
They're not.
My older son, the kids always say, "Well, Mom, he's going to take whatever name you have and put his name on that piece of tape."
It's a beautiful flow blue pattern of a transfer decoration of daisies, and it's the name of the pattern too.
Oh, okay.
It's called Daisy on the back. So ironstone, almost certainly English. It says WAA on the back,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what
not
I
a
looked-
mark that I'm familiar with.
Okay, that's what I was, when I looked at it.
Okay, so let me just see here. But the pattern, when we call it a transfer, that means that the design, the decoration, was laid on like a decal and then glazed over.
Okay,
So
interesting.
it was a way to allow them to produce these things very, very quickly and cheaply. You can see right there where the pattern, where the transfer, there's a gap in it, where they were laying it on.
And I noticed right here, too.
It's a little bit irregular.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a little, but they were doing this fairly quickly. And again, it's not really as saturated a flow blue. It's almost into a category that they call mulberry ware, which is a little more purple. Let's just see here what comes up.
We don't want the kids to sell it for $1, see?
We don't want the kids to sell it, no. Now, I'm not seeing anything, here we go. In the daisy pattern, sometimes they are wildly, hand decorated. Sometimes they are decorated by hand. Most of what I'm finding here is all hand decorated, with maybe a little bit of gilding. You can
I
see
tried to
them.
find something like that on
Yeah.
the internet, and
Yeah, and it's a matter of figuring out what that WAA stands for.
that's what confused me.
Yep. So, I mean, even a beautiful hand-painted plate like that, you
Okay.
can see, that's really gorgeous.
Looked very pretty.
$125.
Okay.
And I would say, and then again, you see, here's a set of two, also beautiful, $30 for the pair. It's just all over the map.
Okay.
So I would say that yours, as beautiful as it is, and there's no crazing, front or back. It is absolutely mint condition. I would say about $50 or $60.
Okay, so I'll tell them not to sell it for $1.
Don't sell it for $1. Nope.
Thank you, young man.
Okay, thanks
you
for
very
coming.
much.
Thanks for coming. Marlis Pepra.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. And you did very well with the name, because they're both strange.
Well, thank you, thank you. I do this a lot.
Oh, okay.
So I run into a lot of unusual names. Look at that.
What kind of material is that?
That is soapstone.
Okay. So,
Of course, it has that kind of pale green color, and so you want to think, gee, is it jade?
well, I knew it wasn't jade.
Good, I'm
Oh,
glad, because a
soapstone.
lot of people think that it's jade. How did you get this?
During World War II,
Uh-huh.
my father, who was in his 30s, was inducted into the service, and my mother was left with 3 children. And
Oh, my
limited
goodness.
income. She had a sister who lived on Lake Minnetonka and was quite wealthy, and so she got a job going there and cleaning for her sister so she could earn a little money, and her sister would give her gifts. So this was a gift to my mother from her sister.
Well, it's a lovely, lovely thing. These were produced in huge numbers in China. It's Chinese soapstone, and the artisans who created these were all following set patterns. So you see the same shapes over and over again, and the same colors and the same rocks. Now this has wonderful little rusty inclusions that give it a little more interest. But you may not be able to see it. There's an exotic bird here in the branches. And this is one of the larger pieces and they come in various colors. They come in browns and grays and greens.
Were
But
they all handmade? Because
they are all hand carved. Yep, they are
all
all.
of this stuff on the outside was one piece.
Yes, absolutely. And some of them are lower, so they're used for planters. Some of them are taller like this, which would have been a vase. But it's a soapstone with birds and flowers. And let's see what comes up here. Only 202 examples come up. Only. And here's one. And it says soapstone sculpture, hand-carved flowers in a planter. There it is. And you can see it's remarkably similar. Yep, yep. And when you just look for these various pieces, you can see they come in all kinds of different colors, but there are certain recurring themes, including that set right there. A lot rustier, but that same green. So, for instance, the 3 of those, and they are 9.5 inches tall, so about the same height. The 3 of those that we just looked at there, those sold for wait a minute, $325 for the group. So about 100 plus per piece. Soapstone is very easily carved, and it's also very easily damaged. So
It weighs a ton.
it does weigh a ton. I mean, it is a big chunk of rock. But I would say today, right around $100.
Okay. Very
Okay,
good.
thank you.
All right, and thank you.
You bet.
And that little mark means it's China.
That's just, yes, yep,
Okay.
yep, that's just
All
the
right.
artisan's mark, perhaps.
Thank you.
Okay.
Clunk.
Take good care of it. Thank you, Marlis. Mary Ann is next. My friend Mary Ann.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Look at
knew it.
that.
I have
Look
looked at it for
Look
a
at
long
that.
time.
Look at that. So you said you looked at it for a long time. Where did you get it?
My husband had a friend whose mother was going into the nursing home.
Uh-huh.
And he wanted us to live in the house so, it wouldn't get terrorized or whatever. And then when she died, he said, you can take whatever you want out of it. And so I took that.
Well, I think that was a pretty good choice. I mean, it's clearly marked Royal Bayreuth, which is a very, very good name. They were made in Bavaria, made, I would think, before World War I, but after 1900. So it's just about 100 years old. But it's interesting that it has, first, that it has a hunter motif.
Is that
and that it
material?
has this textured
Yes.
area, which is very, very odd.
Yes, I think so too.
So, and I mean, it's not the kind of bright, pretty, colorful piece that you normally associate with Royal Bayreuth, and this was never meant for food use because it has
Oh,
holes in the
yes,
back.
yes.
It had no function except to look pretty, and it does. But I have to confess that of all the Royal Bayreuth pieces I've seen, I've never seen one with a duck hunter. So let me see here. Royal Bayreuth with a hunter. Do you think there's going to be any coming up? There is.
Good.
Well, I'll be dipped.
Me too. There's a lot.
There is a lot, and it's the same hunter.
My
Now,
hunter?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, now what? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Here is a Royal Bayreuth. Here, I want you to hold that up.
Yes,
So
sir.
let our audience at home see it.
Oh, over there.
There you go. And then there he is again on a vase.
Oh, my goodness, that's him.
That's him with his dog
Yeah.
and his gun and his short pants. What does it say? Royal Bayreuth, 7 3/8 inch vase with hunter and dog, in January of last year. So going on 2 years ago. And this had a little gilt trim that was sold for $100,
Oh, okay.
which kind of surprises me. But I don't see this particular plate. And now this is amazing. Here are, look at all of these pieces have
This
the
name.
hunter motif.
Yeah.
Here it is on a little picture. There it is, the same lonely hunter and his dog. There's plates, but they have a glossy finish.
Right.
Not
like
like
this.
this.
This is very strange.
Not like this. It's very strange. And I think that because it is textured and because it is a little bit rarer, but it doesn't have, it's not a glossy finish. It's kind of dull and kind of dark. So I would say the vase sold for $100, which I'm frankly I'm surprised that it sold for that much. I would say for the plate about $30.
Oh,
$30.
okay. It's very
Okay.
nice, though.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mary Ann asked me if I would come to her home, and that is something that I am glad to do.
It doesn't sound too good the way you put it.
Well, we have to keep this on a professional level, Mary Ann. For people who have big things or fragile things or a lot of things, the home visits have proven to be a very popular option. So, and my goodness, after the story in the Pioneer Press, my phone did not stop ringing. I have 14 house calls while I'm here in Washington County. So, thanks to the Pioneer Press. Mary Ann, that was Mary Ann. Barbara Bagolia. Did I say that correctly?
I don't think Barbara's here.
Okay. We could go to her house. Just we'll all pile in a van, go over there. Come on out. Okay, what about Sandy McClure? Hi, Sandy.
Hi.
Hi.
I have an old flapper dress.
Okay. Let's see it.
Yeah.
I see a lot of flapper stuff.
Do you?
In my, oh yes, absolutely. But usually not the dresses. Oh my goodness.
And it has ostrich feathers, I think. Let's see.
Wow. Look at that. And it's all beaded.
Yeah, beaded and
You know what people don't, if you could just turn it around so everyone can see it. What people don't appreciate about these wonderful dresses is how much they weigh.
yeah.
I mean, those beads, it really is heavy.
Yeah.
And I mean, the condition of this one is, I mean, a woman named Zelda had to have worn this. You know, I mean, that is absolutely wonderful with the feathers and everything. How did you get this?
My father bought an old log cabin in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And it was filled with antiques, and this was one of them.
Really?
So we have no idea how old or any of the history.
It's got to be. I would say it's screaming 1920s.
Yeah.
And you know, here you've got the little shoulder decoration there, and the I mean, that would have been a very racy outfit in its day.
Right.
So and vintage fashion is still a pretty healthy collecting
Yeah.
area.
I didn't know if these were ostrich feathers.
I think they should. I think they are.
I didn't think you could make things with ostrich feathers.
Well, I think, I don't know that you can anymore, but
Yeah.
at that time, you absolutely could.
Yeah.
There is, in the West Loop in Chicago, there is a really good antique show that focuses on vintage fashion. So if you want to go down there sometime, and I'm sure a lot of the dealers there would love to see that, it's called the Randolph Street Market,
Okay.
and it's in the West Loop.
Okay.
And they have a wonderful collection of you know, various objects associated with vintage fashion, including lots of fabulous flapper dresses. And I'm just looking here to see if we can find something comparable, and I think there is. I mean, here is a beaded flapper dress.
Oh, yeah.
Very remarkably similar, actually. And it's in a chiffon, you know, it's
Yeah.
very, very lightweight.
Right.
I mean, they would have worn she would have worn a sheath underneath it. But if you look at the shoulder decorations, a little more beading
Yeah.
than that one.
And no feathers.
And no feathers.
Yeah.
So we kind of balanced the feathers with the beading. In September, oh my goodness, what's the date today?
25th or?
The 25th? This sold 4 days ago at auction for $60.
Oh, okay.
So I would say, you know, this has a little more going on, maybe 80, maybe push it a little more than that. The
Okay.
condition is wonderful. Do you display it, or do you kind of keep
No,
it
we
tucked
just-
away?
Always been in this.
That's always the issue, is how do you display it? Do you hang it
Right.
up, you know, do you
Right.
create a wall hanging?
Right.
So if you want to share it with the world, I would take it down to Randolph Street Market and see what they say.
Okay.
Okay,
Great. Thank you.
thanks for coming. Okay, that was fun. Thank you, Barbara. Sandy McClure. Oh, no, that was you. Okay. We had, but I said Barbara, did we have Barbara before? No, that's right, she wasn't here. Charles Yeager. Hi.
Hi. This is an autograph quilt.
Okay.
I have no idea what the family history is, that it came down to me from my mother, who got it from her mother.
Okay. Let's unfold it, shall we, so everybody can see it. And all the panels, all the little daisy panels in there, have names written in them in ink. And you can see them. Some of them are a little bit faded. Oh, it's probably upside down. That's okay. We can get an overall sense of its design. Cotton, it's a summer quilt. It's very, very light. And there are really two ways to assess quilts like this. One is on the graphic impact, because a lot of people use them as wall hangings. And this looks like it's probably, very early 20th century, maybe 1910, maybe a little earlier. I don't know if that fits into your family history.
We have no idea.
Yeah. Collectors, because a lot of the colors are pastels. I mean, you've got some, wear up here, and that's fairly common. So the one criteria is the graphic impact. The other criteria is purely technical, and it has to do with stitches per inch. So you just take a random area and you count the number of stitches per inch. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 5 to 6. That's a good average. That's a very, very average number in terms of stitches per inch. If you get less than that, that's, you know, it wasn't, they weren't taking as much care, much time creating the quilt as they could have. If you find a really, really good Amish quilt, they might have 10, 12, 14 stitches per inch, which if you think about it is just mind-boggling. And it also justifies the considerable price that most of those Amish quilts sell for. So we have a really nice autograph quilt from right around the turn of the century in pastel colors. So let me just see here. I think that today a quilt like this, because of the condition, and it does have some condition issues, I think you're probably looking at $100, $125 as a category. Country antiques, even though it's folk art, and it really is a wonderful form of folk art, country antiques have not thrived the way they used to. In the 1980s and 90s, Country Living magazine used to have these lush photo spreads, and everyone was, you know, had a spinning wheel by the fireplace and a pair of snowshoes crossed over the you know, you can't give them away now, you know. It's a lovely piece. Think about how you want to display it.
That was the other thing. Who would I talk to about that?
It's a matter of you can just get quilt display. You can find them online. It's just a strip where you can hang it up. You know, you attach loops and just put it right up on the wall.
Okay,
It's very
I'll do that.
very inexpensive.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Marjorie Johnson has a vase. Hello.
Hello.
Look at that. Very, very pretty. So what do we know about this?
I inherited it from my great aunt and uncle,
Okay,
and they passed on about 15 years ago.
okay,
My uncle had a note on the bottom that said at least 100 years old.
yep, yep.
All right, they're Steinbecks.
The Steinbecks,
The
there they are.
Steinbecks, Yep,
They look
As
like
in
nice
John.
people.
yep. And they did a lot of traveling.
Uh-huh.
He served in World War II, and after
Uh-huh.
he came out of the service and got married to my aunt, they traveled around Europe, they traveled around the Mideast.
Yep.
I don't know if they got that during their travels.
Do you know if they went to Bohemia?
My great-grandparents came from Germany,
Okay,
and I don't know if my great-grandmother brought it with her and my great-uncle inherited it.
uh-huh.
It came down that way. I
I'm
have no
pretty sure
idea.
that this was made in Bohemia.
Okay.
It is in the style of glass that I associated with the company called Mosier. Mosier is spelled M-O-S-E-R. Now this looks a little bit newer than some of the Mosier pieces that I've seen, but they, you know, this lovely cranberry color with a gilt overlay and a ruffled top. You know, when this was still hot, when the glass was still molten, a technician, a glass blower came by with the tongs and just put these ruffles in there by hand. And you can see they're a little bit irregular. You know, this was not done in a machine. So the key here is to figure out how many words we can use to describe it to narrow down the search. We start with Bohemia, and then cranberry. Okay, let's spell that correctly. Cranberry. And it's gilt. It's got gold, so G-I-L-T. And it's a vase, and it's ruffled. It has a ruffle on the top. Bohemia, cranberry, gilt, ruffled vase. What comes back? What comes back here? Let's see. There are so many of them in all different patterns. Hold on just a minute. And this is not a cased glass piece. In other words, cased glass has two colors of glass, one overlaid to the other. This is just cranberry all the way through, and up here it has a little bit more of a reflective quality because of the gilding on it. Now this one, hold on just a minute here. Maybe I added too many qualifiers there. I mean, here is an actual Mosier vase. We were talking about Mosier, and here it came up, and there it is right there. Pretty close. This is a footed vase. In other words, it's got these tiny little feet, whereas this is more of a pedestal base. But that is an actual ruffled Mosier vase, and if you look at the top, a lot of enamel. All of this decoration you see on here is enamel, which is really finely powdered glass, and they mix it with lavender oil, and they paint it on there, then it's fired onto the body. So this Mosier vase, 7 5/8 inches tall, so not even quite this tall, but a little fancier. Hold on, come on. $100 for that one. Doesn't seem like enough. So I would say for your vase, Bohemia, a little bit later than this one, probably $70 for that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Question, why is the base clear? Is it separate from?
Yeah, I mean, they just would have, it just would have been, they would have added that separately, just kind of stuck a clear base, cranberry top. That's pretty common.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Martin Johnson. Hi.
I have a painting.
I see that.
I think it's Burnett. I think it's Carolyn Burnett.
Okay, let's turn around so everybody can see it. It's the school of French painters who all worked in the rain. I mean, my goodness, the number of French paintings done in the rain is just pretty much endless. And this, how did you get this?
I have no money in it. It was in a trash and treasure room at a condo complex.
It was on the free table.
Yeah.
Basically. It was done in the 1960s or the 1970s. You can tell that because it has these fabric-covered spacers all around the outside. That was all the rage in the 1960s or 70s. But it is signed, and I should say that I never ever look at the signature first.
Yeah.
The signature is the last thing I look at. The thing I like to look at first is the you assess the painting on its own merits, and if it has enough of a quality to it, then you take the next step and you look up the artist. Now you said you thought it was Burnett.
Yeah, Carolyn.
B-U-R. To me, it looks like it might even be Burkett. B-U-R. It might be a K. Maybe an N. Let's see here.
I was just curious to authenticate it.
Well, it's France. We know that. It's definitely French. Hold on just a minute. Burnett, Paris. There you go. But we don't have any first name. 20th century. Let's just see what else is out there.
I've seen some in the style by Caroline.
Uh-huh. Now, that's got to be the same. Can everybody see that okay? Same style. Also signed Burnett. That's a very, very, very close image. This is done not only with the brush, but also with a palette knife, and not only with the brush end of the paintbrush, but also the back end, the point on the end. So they got all these little lines in here. So there are many examples of Burnett's work, all in the same style, all this kind of saturated colors. Here's one, 20 by 24, also signed Burnett, $70. So I would say for yours, probably about $40.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Hi.
Hello. No papers. Some,
But you got a box with her.
I got the box.
Porcelain doll,
That's all
it says. Is she attached here? Oh, yes, I see.
It is attached.
Yep.
free.
She has, no, that's fine. That's fine. Very lovely. So how did you get this young
At the
lady?
State sale
Really?
in Forest Lake this summer.
Okay. What is this? Is a handcrafted porcelain doll,
So that is.
and there is no other information on there. She is absolutely in flawless condition. Now this is all right because I'm a doctor. So yep, all original dressed, but generic. These dolls it's in the style of the bisque dolls made in Germany in the 19th century. She's newer. I just want to see if there's any mark on, because normally these would be marked on the back of the neck or on the back of the upper body, and there's no mark there. So she's lovely, but she is anonymous. We don't know where she came from. Almost certainly made in China, probably in the 1970s, I would say. So do you display her?
No, I
No?
haven't. I put
Okay.
it away
Okay.
until I saw your show.
Sure.
And thought I would come up with it.
Sure. I would say contemporary doll. She doesn't have sleep eyes. The eyes are fixed. They don't open and close when she's raised and lowered. Yeah, what did you pay for her?
Paid $5 for it.
$5. I think that was still a good investment, but I think you could double your money. She's about a $10 doll.
Okay.
Simply because she is rather generic, and almost certainly made in China within the last, few years. I would say no more than 20 years ago,
Okay.
probably. So thank you for bringing her in. Okay, here you hold the box. We'll slide her right back in. Just set it down. There we go. There we go. Just like downtown.
Parking.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tanya Weigel?
Contingency.
The whole gang is coming. Come on, guys. It's nice to see the young folks. What did you bring me? How cool is this? How cool is it? And who's this?
My mom.
She seems very nice.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. How did you get this?
I acquired it at a garage sale
Okay.
years ago.
Okay. It was almost certainly made in Egypt. Is there any mark on the back?
I didn't see one.
It's tinned copper. It's not magnetic, so it's copper. It's a big copper bowl. It's the kind of thing that someone would have brought back as a souvenir of their trip to the Middle East. So, and it's pierced. The back was pierced, and it's meant to hang on the wall. So it's not meant to hold food. These come in various.
Pierced by me.
Just what?
It was pierced by me.
It was pierced by you. See, did you know that she did that? Did ya? Oh man. Okay. Well, but I think that's a good way to display it. A lot of these are wall hangings. I don't need to look it up. You got it at a garage sale for how much?
$2.
$2. I think that you could add a zero to that. I think it's about a $20 bowl.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Okay.
This belonged to my father-in-law,
Okay.
and I think it was homemade.
Uh-huh.
Because it doesn't have any signs or anything
Sure.
on it. He used it as a jewelry box, but I think maybe they're called spice.
It is.
Holders or
It's
spice holders, right?
a spice rack.
Okay, spice rack.
It's a spice rack. And these were factory made.
Okay.
They were, very, very popular in the, first decades of the 20th century. I mean, it could be 100 years old, maybe a little less. They were usually made of a straight grain oak or ash, and sometimes they had the name of the spices. They have these terrible little recessed button drawers, which are almost, the handles, which are almost impossible to grab.
Right.
They are all nailed, wire nailed construction. So, I mean, some of them get very, very fancy. And again, this was a category of antiques, country antiques, that, there was a time when this probably would have been a $200 spice rack.
I didn't think it was valuable. My mother-in-law wants my youngest son to have it.
Oh.
But her husband used it as a jewelry box. But I would not have thought it was worth anything. And then I saw it on the wall in the kitchen of the TV series Judging Amy about 6-7 years ago. Remember the Judging Amy?
Yeah.
This was on the wall in the kitchen. Every time I look at it, I would say, oh, that's just like the one I have.
It is, again, these were very, very popular. They were used in just that way. In like the Country Living magazine, we talked about that earlier. And so people would see them in photo displays and get them in their homes. For some reason, my connection here is not doing very well. Oh, here we go. Okay. So now here's one that has a little extra drawer on the bottom. I haven't seen too many like that, but that's, again, straight grain oak, very lightweight, has a little extra drawer, and it also has the little labels on there for the names of the spices, those tiny little button pulls.
What are the labels made out of?
Metal.
Metal,
Yeah,
okay.
$60 that's sold for. Yep. And I mean, that's just amazing to me, because they used to be about $150. So I would say about $50 for yours. Okay. So the grandson is going to use it, do you
No,
think?
my youngest son.
Your
Yes,
youngest, okay.
So the next time he comes over, I'm going to say, here, take that. I'm trying to get rid of everything out of the house.
Okay.
Take that. And he said, well, let's see, my car's full.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to take it.
He better. He better.
I'm trying to clear out my house.
Thank you for bringing it. Okay. All right, thank you, Charlotte.
We have 2 people signed up for 26.
Pardon?
We have 2 people signed up for 26 because we doubled up.
Okay, so death match to see who gets to go?
Yeah, this will first.
Okay.
Mitchell was one and Sandy was the other.
Okay, that's all right. Mitchell Johnson. Hi.
He's Voltaire.
Oh, he is Voltaire. How did you get Voltaire here?
My grandfather probably got him as a legal fee during the Depression.
I hear that a lot.
Okay.
Bartering.
Yeah.
Especially.
Wasn't a lot of money.
No, absolutely. And he's on a lovely marble or alabaster, marble more than likely base. It's bronze. He has a good heft to him, but it's not signed anywhere that I can see. Have you noticed any signature anywhere?
No, but actually that's a trademark of barter too.
A trademark of barter?
A lot of the things that came down from lawyers doesn't, like furs and jewelry never seem to have names.
Well, I don't know the trademark trademark of barter, but a trademark of bronze figures is that they should be signed. Yes. So let's see what comes up here. Come on. A lot of times when you see a bust like this, it is, they are, or a figure like this is just the bust. It's not a full figure like this one.
And this, I guess, Voltaire statue kind of inspired me to read some Voltaire.
Uh-huh. Voltaire had no respect for anyone or anything. He was frequently the rich, the society of the rich were one of his targets. He pulled no punches. So now this has a stick. I wonder if this is by Houdon, a really well-known French sculptor, Houdon. It looks a lot like that guy right there. Yep, there he is. Including, the base is slightly different, but that's the same figure. He's got his walking stick, and what does it say? Bronze of Voltaire by Houdon, Houdon. And this, so it would be after the artist Jean-Antoine Houdon, 1741 to 1828, on a black marble base, 15 inches high. In 2011, this figure sold at auction for $650. So I'll bet that your 1930s legal fee wasn't $650. It could have been, but probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. So I would say, and I mean, he has a patina, but the patina has been worn a little bit. But that's okay. I mean, this was 2 years ago. There are several of these figures by Houdon. Just let me see if I can find some more of them here. No, there aren't any more coming up. So I would say maybe around $500.
Okay.
Good. Very nice. Okay, Sandy. Hello.
Sandy, hello. I've got a couple of paintings.
Okay.
By the same artist.
Okay.
That's fine. I've got two of them.
That's fine. That's fine. Charles Waldman?
No, it was,
Oh,
I think, a gift to him. The
Okay.
artist is Robert Kohler.
okay.
And
Koehler.
Yes.
Probably Kohler, I'll bet.
Oh, maybe.
It might be pronounced Kohler. So how did you get these? I mean, here we have an oil on canvas, and here is a watercolor. Let me just, there we go. So how did you get these?
I bought him at an estate sale in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I've had these verified at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts of who the artist is.
Cool.
Because he has a painting hanging there called Rainy Evening on Hennepin Avenue.
Okay.
I don't know if you're from here. Seen that, but it's a beautiful painting.
I am familiar with Hennepin Avenue.
Okay. Good enough.
So Robert Kohler, Koehler, and it says 1895. Okay.
So November 17th.
That's very interesting. Well, I have to say,
local. He
yeah,
was local.
yeah, there were a lot of good Minneapolis and Minnesota artists, very active at the end of the 19th century and at the beginning of the 20th century. So
He was also the president of the art school.
there was like an arts league or the arts school.
What's now the Minneapolis School of Art and
Oh,
Design.
okay, okay.
And I think of like a founder of the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, because I've looked him up.
Well, I'm glad you did your homework. I'll tell you what, frankly I like this one better. I think it has a little bit more depth, a little bit more, going on. I like the impasto. The impasto is the weight of the paint on the canvas, and I think it's fairly well realized here. Let's see what comes up. I wonder if it was, there we go. Robert Kohler, American German, 1850
to 1917. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty well known, and like I said, I got these at an estate sale. I paid $25 for the two of them about 30 years ago.
Okay.
And then I was a volunteer at the Institute for a long time, saw this painting, and saw, oh, that's the same name as
The ones on
my
yours,
paintings.
yeah.
So these are probably pretty minor works of his, but he was a well-known.
Well, and I mean, there's minor and there's minor. He some of his works are very, very evocative. Here's one, for instance, which you may have already found. Right there.
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. Does it show a picture of the signature? No. Homeward Bound, oil on canvas, 15 3/4 by 19 inches. So about twice the size of that one. That sold at auction in July for $2,600. Excuse
So these
me.
might have some value.
These might have some
Even though
value.
they're very simple paintings, but
I
he
mean,
is
there's
well-known.
there's a simple little landscape.
Yeah.
How big was it? Now this says he was from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, 1850 to 1917.
Mm-hmm.
This is 9th Avenue, 1879. How big was it? 12 by 8, so about the size of that one. That sold at auction for $1,000. So, I think and how much did you spend for them?
25.
For the pair?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that was a pretty good investment. I think that was a very, very good investment. I mean, some of his, now there, that relates to the first image we saw, that sold for $3,000. All relatively recent.
Recently?
I mean, yeah, April.
Where would you
of-
go?
April
where,
of this year.
Where locally would I go to sell something like that?
I am happy to put people in touch with various auction houses, and most of them actually are my colleagues on Antiques Roadshow. So
Okay.
if you want to contact me after the program, take my card, send me an email, I'll be happy to put you in touch with somebody.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be good.
Great.
Okay, so any estimate on both?
Estimate, I think, for both, probably about 500.
500?
Mm-hmm.
For both?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.